Implementing failover clustering with Windows Server Hyper-V. Now, what options we have to make application and services highly available? The first option we have the host clustering. Host clustering, that means where we are using a physical machine for the cluster node as a cluster node. That means we are using physical machine, a real machine as a cluster node, where we are using these machines to create the cluster. Now in that case, if you select this host based clustering, then what if we want to use a virtual machine on that, then VMs are highly available, they will become highly available. So when we create the virtual machines on that cluster, so it will become very the highly available virtual machine. That means if suppose one server goes down which is hosting the virtual machine, then virtual machine can move on to other server. Then does not require VM operating system or application to be cluster aware. In that case, if you are using the virtual machine on the host based cluster, then our virtual machine operating system, that means whatever operating system we are installing on that virtual machine or any application we are installing on it, does not have to be a cluster aware application or cluster aware operating system. They don't have to care about that they are installed in cluster or not, so they can work properly. Then in other hand, we have guest clustering. In guest clustering, what we do, we use virtual machine as a cluster node. That means we use first we have a physical host, and in that physical host we create virtual machines as a guest, and then by using those virtual machines, those guest virtual machines, we create the cluster. Now in that case, VMs are failover cluster nodes. So that means the virtual machine itself become the failover cluster nodes. Now in that case, virtual machine application must be cluster aware. So whatever the virtual machine application we are using, in this case for Microsoft we are using Hyper-V, so that must be cluster aware. They should work with cluster. So applications we use on the cluster virtual machines, that must be cluster aware. The application must know that they are installed on the cluster. Then require iSCSI or virtual fiber channel interface for shared storage connection. Now when we create the cluster, then we need a shared storage, and that shared storage must be connected to virtual machine itself. So for connecting the shared storage to the virtual machine, we can use the iSCSI storage, or we can create the virtual fiber channel interface, so that if you are using the fiber channel as a shared storage, so for that the fiber channel storage can connect to the virtual machine. We use this fiber channel virtual fiber channel interface. Or if we use the SCSI drives, then we can iSCSI drives, then we can use this directly to the virtual machine as a shared storage. Then we have the other option, it is called NLB. NLB is network load balancing. Network load balancing cluster. In this case, virtual machines are load balancing cluster node. That means this network load balancing cluster is for the different purpose. It is for the load balancing. Failover cluster do provide the failover thing. When one server goes down, the services will run from the other server. So among all the servers, all the nodes, one node will run and other nodes will wait for the failure of the other node. But in NLB server, NLB cluster, that means network load balancing cluster, in this all the nodes of the cluster will work at the same time simultaneously. They do load balancing, and this is basically used for web-based applications. Web-based application, that means whatever the application we use on network-based applications. So this NLB cluster is basically for network-based applications. It is not for virtual machine, but we can use virtual machine to as a NLB cluster node to create the NLB cluster. Or we can use a physical host also. We can use physical host also to create this NLB cluster. But this NLB cluster is basically only used for the web-based applications. So if we have some application, web-based or network-based application which we want to make highly available, then we can use this NLB cluster also. So these are the options we have to make application or services highly available. Now, how does a failover cluster work with Hyper-V node? Now in Hyper-V node, if we want to configure it, so first we have to have nodes here, like for example we have two nodes here, then we need two dedicated networks here. A dedicated network connects to the failover cluster nodes. This is the dedicated network to connect the failover cluster nodes, and then another dedicated network to to connect the share bus or iSCSI connection. So we need a separate connection for the cluster storage, which is having a cluster storage where we create the virtual machines. We put the storage of virtual machine, and the other network we need for connecting the nodes, and also for the for the clients who is going to access the virtual machine from there. Now what happened here in these two nodes, if suppose one node goes down, then it will move to the virtual machine, will move automatically to the other node, and when it comes back, then it can do the fail back. So when the failover happens, that this node 1 goes down, so what happened, our virtual machine moves to another server, another node. Now when this server comes back, then virtual machine can do failback, and it can come back to the the original node. So failover and failback. So this is how this failover cluster works with Hyper-V virtual machines. Now failover clustering with Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V features. What are the features we have? Failover clustering with Windows Server Hyper-V features are maximum nodes and VM support. So it supports a maximum number of VM nodes, node supports. Now it has failover clustering supports up to 64 nodes. That means we can combine 64 nodes to create a failover cluster, and we can create 8,000 virtual machines per cluster and 1024 VMs per node. That means we can combine 64 nodes to create a cluster, and in that cluster totally we can create 8,000 virtual machines. And if suppose you create only on one node, so you can create 1024 virtual machines at one node. Then file share storage. Here we can use the VHDX, Windows Server 2012 R2 and Windows Server 2016 only, where we can use a virtual disk for the share storage, and also we can use this virtual disk VHDS also, but this will work only on Windows Server 2016. So we can use the shared virtual disk here. In Server 2016, we can use a shared virtual disk for the shared storage for the virtual machines in the cluster. Like if suppose we are using the virtual machine as a cluster node, so for giving the virtual machines shared storage, for configuring the cluster, we can use a shared virtual disk. So by using the shared virtual disk, we can give a shared storage to the virtual machine which is using to create the virtual machine cluster. Now rolling Hyper-V cluster upgrades. We can also do the rolling Hyper-V cluster update without having a downtime. Then VM configuration versions are also there, where we can configure the version of VM. Like if it is configured on Windows Server 2012, then we can upgrade it into Windows Server 2016 also. These are the features. Then what is the best practice for implementing the high availability in a virtual environment? So best practice for the implementing of high availability in virtual environments are plan for failover scenario. First you should have to plan for the scenario whenever failover happens, then what you should do or what should be done. Then plan the network design for failover clustering. Then we have to design the network properly and make sure the network is available every time. Then we should plan the storage for failover clustering also. We should plan the shared storage so that it will give the storage to all the nodes. All the nodes can connect the storage. So when the services or application moves from one server to other server, they can get the storage properly. Use the default failover cluster quorum mode. Now default failover cluster quorum is actually good for your cluster, because when we create the cluster, so cluster create or select itself that what is best for it. So you provide the best, it will choose what is the best option it has. Then we should choose the best, the default quorum mode. Then deploy the standardized Hyper-V host. Normal Hyper-V host, if suppose we are using the Hyper-V host for the cluster, so we should use standardized and develop the standard management practices. Now implementing Hyper-V VMs on failover cluster. So for first implementing the Hyper-V virtual machine on the cluster, these are the components we have to make sure is available. So first component is the cluster node. So we need a cluster nodes that we can combine to create the cluster. Then we should have a cluster network. Cluster network, that means we should have a cluster network for it, like the network for nodes to communicate, clients to access the virtual machine, and also for the storage. Then virtual network. Now virtual network also we have to configure for the virtual machines. Now when the virtual machines, we configure virtual machine on the cluster, so when the cluster, when one node fails, then the virtual machine should move from one cluster to other cluster. Now for that we should configure the cluster network or virtual network also, so that the virtual machine can move from one server to other server, and also it should be accessed from the client. So client should access the network. So we should configure the virtual network that can be available for the client also from one node of the cluster to other node of the cluster. So basically we use the virtual, the external network, external switch in virtual network. Then storage for VMs. Then storage for the VMs, that means we configure the storage for VMs. Now storage we will configure for the virtual machines, we will configure it on the shared storage of cluster, so that one virtual machine move from one server to other server, the storage will be available. And then we will use the virtual machine on the cluster. So that are the components. Then what are the prerequisites for implementing the Hyper-V failover cluster? First, hardware requirement for the cluster node and storage includes the server hardware. The server hardware must be standard cluster support. We can say it is Microsoft certified hardware, so that we can configure the cluster on it. Then network adapters must be supported with the technology, the cluster technology which we are configuring. Then storage adapters, that means if we are using fiber channel storage or SAN storage, then we need a separate kind of adapters for it, and then we need a storage. So these are the hardware requirement. Then software recommendation for the cluster nodes are running Windows Server 2016, at least standard edition or data center edition, or we can use the Hyper-V Server 2016 edition also. So in Server 2016 we have a separate edition for Hyper-V virtualization, so we can use that Hyper-V Server 2016 edition also. Now require the same software updates and service packs. One more time, all the servers nodes, all the nodes which we are using in the cluster, they must be in the same service pack and must be in the same update level. Then must be either a full installation or a server core installation. So we can use a graphical interface, a graphical full installation, or even we can use a core server installation also. That is the software recommendation. Then for the network infrastructure requirements includes the network setting and IP addresses. Now we have to configure the network setting and IP addresses properly. Private networks that is connected to the storage, we have to separate it from the other network. Then DNS is to resolve the name of the cluster and services of the cluster, and also for the virtual machine. Then domain roles. So domain roles are important. Domain roles is also there for the authentication purpose and account for administrating the cluster. So we should have a separate account for the cluster administrating. Now remember, when we are having a domain, so we have only one administrator in the domain. Now domain has a big thing, and it has lots of different services and all the different roles and services there. So in domain environment, what we do actually, we create multiple administrator to do multiple roles and services, and give them a specific permissions only for running those services and roles. So if you want to have a separate account for the Hyper-V, then we should create an account which can only do the administrating of the Hyper-V, of the cluster or all the cluster. So that account must have a permission to administrator all those resources of the cluster. Then implementing the Hyper-V VMs on a failover cluster. So this is the procedure, this is the steps we have to do. First, you have to install and configure the Windows Server 2016, configure the shared storage for them, then install the Hyper-V and failover clustering feature both on the nodes, all the nodes which we are using in the cluster. Then validate the configuration, and when we see there is no problem, no error, then we can go on to create the cluster. After creating the cluster, then we can create a virtual machine on one of the cluster nodes. So we can create the virtual machine. Now that virtual machine will be highly available. So we can make the virtual machine highly available for an existing VM. If suppose we have already a virtual machine created on the node, then we can make it highly available also. Then test the failover of VM. Test the failover, that means check if one server goes down, then the virtual machine is moving from one server to one node to other node or not. This is the steps. Now for configuring the storage, cluster shared storage, that is called CSVs. So CSVs is actually called cluster shared storage. Now what is the benefits of this cluster shared storage? Fewer LUNs required, better use of disk space, virtual machine files are in a single logical location, and no special hardware required, and increased resiliency. So this cluster shared storage that is available in the cluster, which is shared by all the nodes in the cluster, but they look like they are having a single location. It looks like a single location, but it is actually shared among different different nodes of the cluster. We does not require a special hardware for that. We can make any available storage. We can make any available storage as a cluster share storage. But for the virtual machine, we have to make this cluster shared storage. To implement this cluster share storage, we can create and format the volume on the shared storage. So whatever the shared storage we are using, for example, we are using iSCSI disk. So iSCSI drive. So we use that iSCSI drive, first create and format that volume with the, and then add the disk to a failover cluster storage. So after adding it into the failover cluster storage, then we can add the storage to CSV. So there is an option to convert that storage into CSV. Then configure the shared virtual hard disk. Now if suppose we are using failover cluster nodes as a virtual machines, so if failover cluster runs inside virtual machine, then we can use the shared virtual disk. Shared virtual disk used as a shared storage. So instead of using iSCSI or SAN, we can use the virtual disk as a shared storage for virtual machines, those virtual machines which is used as a node of the cluster. So VMs do not need access to iSCSI or failover clustering SAN. So we don't require that, because we are using a virtual hard disk as a shared disk, as a shared storage. So presented as a virtual serial attached SCSI disk, and can be used only for data, but it can be only used for data, not for the quorum. Then requirement for shared virtual disk, virtual hard disk is must be in VHD form, VHDX or VHDS format, then connected by using the virtual SCSI adapter, then stored on a scale out file server or CSV. So that virtual disk, which is we are using it for the cluster nodes as a shared storage, that must be stored into the scale out file server, that means as a share folder, or even a share storage, even a cluster storage. Then Windows Server 2012 or later is the supported operating system in VM. So in the virtual machine, if you want to install the operating system, then it only support Windows Server 2012 and all the later versions like Windows Server 2012 R2, then Windows Server 2016. Before the Windows Server 2012, it is not supported. Then implementing the scale out file server for virtual machine. So if we want to store the storage on the file server, then we can configure the file server, scale out file server for virtual machines. In Windows Server 2016, what we can do, you can store the VM files on SMB, on a SMB 3.0 file share. So we can create a share folder, and we have an option to create the share folder for applications, and that application share folder we can use to store the virtual machine data. So file servers need to run Windows Server 2012 or later operating system, and file server cluster needs to be configured as a scale out file server for application data. That means when we configure the share folder, we have to choose a share folder for the application. Then use the Hyper-V manager to create or move virtual machine files to SMB file share. So after creating the share folder, we can move our virtual machine data to a share folder, and then we can use that virtual machine in a cluster for making a cluster node, as a cluster node. Now consideration for implementing the Hyper-V cluster. So identify the following recommended failover clustering requirements. First, application that require highly availability, then application component that must be highly available, application characteristics, and total capacity requirements. In Windows Server 2016 Hyper-V live migration consideration, live migration, that means we want to move virtual machine which is running on one node, we want to move it to other node without having a downtime, without shutting down the machine. That is called live migration. So very basic requirements are there. Verify the basic requirements are there. Configure a dedicated network adapter or virtual network adapter for that, and use a similar host hardware on both the server nodes. That means if we are using nodes, 2 nodes or 3 nodes in the cluster, so they must be have a same hardware, so that when we move virtual machine from one node to other node, they will not face a hardware change. Otherwise, they will stop working. Use similar host hardware and verify the network configuration. Network configuration must be proper, because in the network configuration, from the network it will go from one server to other server. So we have 2 networks in the cluster, storage and the node to node network, and also for the client network. So node to node network will be used to move the virtual machine from one node to other node. Maintaining and monitoring VMs in cluster. Now when we are configuring the virtual machine in the cluster, then we should know how to maintain and monitor it. So in Windows Server 2016 clustering, you can implement the following technologies for virtual machine maintaining and monitoring. We have service and VM health monitoring. Then we can use network health detection. Windows Server 2012 and R2 and later only it is available. Then we can use virtual machine drain on shutdown. Windows Server 2012 R2 and later only, which is available. Default is enabled. Now this one is enabled by default. To check run this command, get cluster drain on shutdown option. So it will show you that whether this option is enabled or disabled. This option will do what? Virtual machine drain on shutdown. That means when we do the shutdown, then it will drain out all the virtual machine from that host. Now we implement failover cluster with Hyper-V. So first option is to configure the failover clustering. First we have to configure the failover clustering, then we have to configure the disk for failover cluster. That means we will use the CSV, cluster shared volume. Then create new VM on cluster or make existing VM highly available. So either we create VM there already which is available, or we create new VM on the cluster directly, or if the virtual machine is already there, then we can make it highly available also. Move VM storage to the SCSI storage. Now if suppose the virtual machine is already there, it is created, then we have to move the virtual machine storage to the share storage of the cluster. Only then it will become highly available. Then configure the VM as highly available. Now here we have already configured the cluster, and we have a cluster named cluster 1, And we have nodes of the cluster. We have two nodes in the cluster, server 2 and server 3. We have two dedicated networks. One is for the storage, which is this 10.00 network, 10.0.00, and then we have the other network which is dedicated for the host network, the nodes traffic, like node to node connection, and also it is used for the client. Now I will start my cluster here. So failover cluster manager. So we can see we are having here cluster1.psi.com. Psi.com is our domain. So when I select it, so we can see this is our cluster. Now in a cluster we have two nodes here, node 2 and node server 2 and server 3 as two nodes, both are running. Then we have configured one role here. So role is already there. Some one role is running, which is handled by the server 2. Then we have storage also, and under the storage we have these three disks. These three disks, we have this disk is used for the file server role, and this disk is available. This disk is available. We can use this disk. We can use this disk for the virtual machines. So we want to configure the virtual machine on the cluster. We want to make the virtual machine highly available. Then we can use it on this. We can configure it here. We can use this virtual disk. We can use this shared storage. We can use this shared disk. So for using this shared disk, first we have to make this as a failover cluster shared volume. So how I get this disk? I have first share the disk. This is my iSCSI disk. So I share the disk from the server, iSCSI target server. Then I connect it in both the servers, server 2 and server 3. And then what I did, I formatted it. I make the volume in both the servers. It is available. Server 2 and server 3 is connected. Then I came to this Hyper-V cluster, this failover cluster manager, and then I say add the disk. I click on add the disk. Now when you select this, it will scan for the disk. It will check whether any shared disk is connected to the storage, to the server or not. If the shared disk is connected to both the server, then it will show you here that there is a disk which is available, and it can be added into the cluster. So if the disk is available, then it will give you the option to add the disk, and when after you select the disk, it will be added into the cluster. Now it is available storage. We can use it for any role and services. We can even use it for the Hyper-V machine also, virtual machine also. It is a size of 10 GB. We can see the size, and total size is available. No space is used. Now we can make this disk as a cluster shared volume. For making it as a cluster shared volume, we have to select the disk, and in the extend side we have this option here to add to cluster shared volume. So if you select this option, now you can see it becomes cluster shared volume, and this volume we can use for creating the virtual machine. So we have fulfilled the requirements, like we have installed the Hyper-V role, we have installed the failover cluster feature in both the servers. We have configured the failover cluster. The failover cluster is already running, and we have connected the storage and made the storage as a shared volume, as a cluster shared volume also. Now for the network part, and also we want to install the Hyper-V role in both the servers. Now suppose we want to create a virtual machine. So if you want that, then you go here on the roles and right click on it. Then you have option to create virtual machine here. So we can create new virtual machine if it is not there. But for creating the virtual machine, we need a role here. It says the Hyper-V role management tool are not installed. So we have to install the Hyper-V role in both the servers, both the nodes. So whatever the nodes we have, you have 2 nodes, 3 nodes, 4 nodes in your cluster, you have to install Hyper-V role on all the nodes. And then you can go on to create the virtual machine. You can make the virtual machine highly available. So first we have to install the role in both the servers, server 2 and server 3. And after configuring the role, then we will verify this setting by using this, by running this validate configuration wizard, validate cluster configuration. So after when it runs this, we will check that whether our settings are proper or not, and then we can go on to create the virtual machine. So what I am going to do now, first I am going to install the role in both the servers, server 2 and server 3. So right now we are on server 2 here, so I am going to install the role here. Next, and then I will select Hyper-V. No feature I want, so I will go next. This is before you begin, it is asking you to verify these things are there. So I say no, I know that. Now this is very important here. We have 2 networks here. It is asking us to select the network to create a virtual switch. Now we have to select, we have 2 networks here. These 2 networks, one network is for the data, for the storage, and the other network is for the cluster nodes. Now it is recommended that you have a reserve. You see here what is it saying? We recommend that you reserve one network adapter for remote access to this server. Now whatever, we should have one network, we should have a separate network configured for virtual machines. Now we can use the same network which is we are using for the cluster node and all the clients. We should use that, we can use that network also, but it is a good idea to have a separate network for virtual machine, because virtual machines will move from one server to other server, and they will use that network also. This network which is using for the cluster node to node, and also the network which we choose for the virtual machine, they will be used for the accessing of that virtual machine from the client side. Now I will not select this here, I will do it after installing the role, because when you select this any of these adapter, it will do what? It will take over the configuration of that adapter. It will take the whole configuration of that adapter and create the virtual switch. So I'm not going to do this right now. Then for the migration, now for live migration, we want to do the live migration, so we have to enable it, or we can enable it after the installation also. Then for the virtual disk storage, so where you want to keep it, I will go with the default. Then I want to install it, and I said restart if required, and it is going to restart it. Now it will take a little time, it will reboot 2 times, and then it will complete the installation. And then we have to do it same on server 3 also. That means all the nodes in the cluster. Now it is installed on server 2. Now I will go on to server 3 and install there also. Now this is server 3, so I will install it here also. Okay, it is not enabled from the BIOS, so it is giving error. first I have to enable it there. Now I enable it from the BIOS, then I can go on to install the role. And again I am not selecting this, I will do it later. I want live migration. This also we can enable it after the installation. I will go with the default storage location and then restart. Now it is installing on server 3 also. After it will install on both the servers, then both the servers we will configure the virtual switch for virtual machines. And then we can use them, we can create virtual machine in cluster. Now it is installed on server 3 also. Now first what we will do here, we will configure the network properly. We will configure the network for virtual machines. Now for configuring the network for the virtual machine, what we have to do here, we have to select the proper network. Remember, this network is for the storage, so we cannot use this network. We can use this network for virtual machines. Now we need external network. We have to create the external switch so that the virtual machine can be accessible from the outside of the host. That means if the clients want to use the virtual machine, then they should connect it from the outside. So for that, what they need an external we need an external switch that can be used to connect the virtual machine from the outside of this host. And for that we have to connect the virtual machine virtual switch to the network adapter. Now network adapter, we can't use this storage network adapter. We have to use a separate one, the one which is we are using for the clients. So we are going to use this one, not this one. So we have to configure it. So we'll go to tools and Hyper-V manager. This is server 3 and this is server 3 Hyper-V manager. So in that I will go to virtual switch manager and I have to create the external switch. So I create the external switch. Now I have to select a proper adapter for it. Now here when you see, you will see two adapters here. This is 1 and this is 2, and this is what at the end it is saying this is the second adapter. Now we have to make sure that which adapter we are choosing here. Now for that, what I will do, I will go on to open the network setting. I will select this and here I can see this adapter name is what, this. I'll go to property, I will go to status. So this adapter, we see the detail. So this is this one, and it is the adapter which is used for the network traffic, for the client traffic, for the node to node traffic. So this is the one which we have to choose, and this is the name of that adapter. Now the second adapter we have is this. When you see the status here, so this is the second one which is having the 2 at the end, and this is the adapter we are using for the network, for the storage network. So we are not using this, we are not going to use this. So we don't have to select this. So we have to select this one. So I will go back to virtual machine, Hyper-V setting, this virtual switch setting. I will give the name and I'm going to select, you can see these two. So this is the one which is used for the data traffic, storage traffic, and this is one we are using for all the other like node to node traffic and also for the clients. So I'm going to use this one for Hyper-V traffic also, and I am selecting it. It says yes. It says for the time being it is going to disable the network. So I say yes. And it is now created. we can see now we are having this external adapter created. Now when we do this, if you check the adapter settings here, you see the new virtual adapter is created, and it has taken over all the settings from that physical adapter. Now when you go to check the physical adapter status, you will see nothing here, no configurations. All the configuration has gone to this virtual adapter. Now we have to make sure that it is the right configurations. Okay, so this is the one which we have moved, so this is the right one. This is not the one for the storage. So this is we have done on the server 3. So I will do it the same thing on server 2 also. Now I am on server 2. So on server 2 also I will do the same thing. I will go to Hyper-V Manager, and on server 2 Hyper-V Virtual Switch Manager, I will create the external switch by using the adapter which we are using for the node to node and client traffic. Now here also it is showing these two, so I have to first verify it. So I will go to open this, and then I will verify here. So this is the two adapter we are having here. So what this one, if I check, I will check the status and detail. So this is the one which we are going to use it for the network traffic. Now it is having some multiple IPs also. Those multiple IPs are coming from the cluster, because we have configured some services on the cluster, some roles on the cluster. So for those cluster roles, they are having different IP addresses. So we are having this. So this is what we are going to use it for the cluster, and the other one is the data storage. Now this one is for the storage, which has at the name which has this 2. So I say okay. I will go to the switch manager, and then here I will select this one, and then I will name it whatever name you want. And it is now going to create, and now it is created here. So this is the external switch which is connected to this adapter, and when we check the setting for the adapter, it has created new virtual adapter. We can verify the settings of this adapter, and it is the one which we want to use. So this is the one. And now we can go to our our failover cluster. So I will start the failover cluster manager here. So this is our failover cluster manager. So now we have the cluster installed, configured, and we can do also verify these settings what we have configured. We can validate the configuration. We can go for the validation also. It will take some time, and it is going to do the validation. So whenever you do something, you want to check something, then you should check the configuration is proper or not. And for that you can anytime run this validation wizard, validate configuration wizard, or you can run PowerShell command, the test cluster configuration. So I will run the whole test and see what is the is it everything is okay or not. It will take some time, but it will run the test. It will do help us. Now validation is completed. It is completed with some warnings. We can see the report here. What is the problem? And we can say if we can solve the problem. So what is the problem here? First, it is saying about the configuration warning. We have configuration warning, network warning, and system configuration warning. So if I check the configuration warning, so what is it saying? Cluster node, validate the cluster node. So it is about the validating of the cluster node and validate the resources status. So if you want to check this, then it says what is the problem here. Okay, it is saying that the node is down. Okay, so one server is down. So we will see what is the problem. Maybe the server is not running. Restart the node, resume the node. What is the problem? Restart. We can restart the node, resume the node, and stop it. Okay, so it is a problem. And back to summary. Then what is the problem next? Resource. So what is the problem here? The resource is marked with the state of offline. Okay, there is a disk which is marked as a offline, and the resource marked with the state of failed, state online. Okay, then what is the next? It is actually we are having the network warning also, and the network warning in the network communication. And what is it saying here? That analyzing the connectivity. So there is an interface on both the servers. This one is saying failure. It is saying what the node server 3 is reachable from node server 2 by only one pair of network interface. It is possible that this network path is single point of failure for communication within the cluster. So it is saying there is only one network we are using to connect from server 2 to server 3. So it can be a single point of failure. So you should have multiple networks. Node 3 and node server 2 are connected by one or more communication path, that is disabled network, and the network is disabled. So some network is disabled, these path will not be used for the communication. Then it is saying that the communication path between network server 2, Ethernet 1, and network server 3, Ethernet 1, is disabled network. Now this is disabled because we have created this Hyper-V switch. So Hyper-V virtual switch, so it has taken over the interface of that virtual machine. So that interface now does not have any IP address. So okay, rest of the things are okay. So we can go on to configure it. So what we can do now, we can configure the virtual machine on our cluster. So configuring the virtual machine, highly available virtual machine, we can do it by going on to roles, right clicking on the role and select to create the virtual machine, or we can go on to select from here also in the action pane. Before that, I will make sure the server 3 is running or not. Okay, it is saying that server 3 is down. So let me check what is happened to the server 3. Now both the servers are on. That server 3 was not showing because it was down. The service cluster service was not running there, but now it is started. So I'll go to roles and I will start configuring virtual machine. I'll do right click, select virtual machine, and I will create new virtual machine. Now I'm creating new virtual machine because I'm not having any virtual machine right now. So if you have already the virtual machine, then you can make the virtual machine highly available. Now for making the virtual machine highly available, you have to move the storage of the virtual machine which is existing, which is created, to the shared storage, and then we can make it highly available. But we don't have any virtual machine, so I'm going to create a virtual machine. Now it is saying that which server node, cluster node you want this virtual machine to be handled. So I want, okay, server 2 should handle this right now. We can change it. Okay, now this wizard opens to create the virtual machine. We'll go next. We will provide the virtual machine name. I will say this is my VM1. I can say this is cluster virtual machine 1. Now we have to make sure that this storage is different. This is a default storage, it is under the local C drive, but we have to make sure the storage is under the shared storage, otherwise this machine will not become highly available. So I will choose to select the different path here, and then I will browse and choose a path, a drive which is our shared storage. So where is our shared storage? So this is our shared storage. Remember to choose the shared storage which we have configured as a cluster shared storage. So I will choose this, and here, wait a second. No, not this one. It is not showing here. So first I have to make sure it shows here. So I will do what? I will cancel this for right now. I will go to disks, and okay, this disk is there, and other disk is also, I will bring it online, and I will make it cluster away, share volume also. Now this cluster share volume is now under here, C drive, storage cluster storage volume 1, and this is volume 2. So we can verify that. Under C drive, this is the cluster storage, and this is volume 1, this is volume 2. If I open volume 1, so what I will do here, I will create new folder here for my virtual machines, settings, and one for my VHDs, and I'm going to store this here. So I will go on to create a virtual machine here. On server 2, and this time I will select that location, our cluster storage, shared storage, so which is under C drive. It is coming as a, not as a drive, it is coming as a cluster storage volume 1 folder. So I will select, this is for the virtual machine, settings. Now whether you want to create generation 1, generation 2, you will select this. Then you can select whether you want to have, how many RAM you want to give. Now here you have to select the external switch for the virtual machine. Now it is going to create a new virtual disk, and it is going to create under the same location, but you can change it. So I can change it to the folder which I created, that is under shared volume 1, and this is the virtual disk. So that we have to make sure that we put the volume in the share volume. I will install the operating system later. So this is what I have selected, and now I will say finish. Now it is creating and configuring the virtual machine. And it is configuring high availability for the virtual machine. And now this is successful. Now this machine is configured, and now this is highly available. Now this machine we have created on server 2. So if you go to server 2 Hyper-V manager, you can see the virtual machine here. You can even manage the virtual machine from here also. Now if you go to server 3, you will not see this machine on server 3, Hyper-V manager. Now this is server 3, and if I open the Hyper-V manager here, so I am not seeing any virtual machine here because we have selected server 2 to hold that virtual machine. But when server 2 fails, then the virtual machine will move to this server 3. It will do the failover. Now I will try to start the machine. And machine is now running. Now when the machine is running, then what we can do the live migration. When we select the machine here, this is what Hyper-V manager. We can see it on the cluster also. So here also we can see it is not showing. Okay, it is now showing running. So when the machine is running, we can select the machine here. This machine is highly available. So you can see the setting for the machine here. You can do all these things. You can do connect, you can do save, shut down, turn off. You can see the setting for the virtual machine. You can do manage the virtual machine. You can create the replication also. You can move the virtual machine. Now moving, that means it is a migration from one server node to other server node. And also we can add storage for it. We can do add some resources. Now if we want to do the migration, we can do the live migration also. Live migration means the machine is running here, and at the time of running we can move the virtual machine from one node to other node. And the clients who is using the virtual machine, they will not notice the change. They will still get the virtual machine, they will use the virtual machine. Now for doing the live migration, we can do machine will be running, and we can right click on it, we can go to move, and we can select to do the live migration. We can do the live migration, or we can do the normal migration also. And also we can do move the virtual machine storage only, but storage must be in the shared storage. Now we can do the live migration. We can select possible node. If you have multiple nodes, then we can select the cluster will decide the node, and you can decide also the node if you want to select. So I want to select the node, and there is only one node I have, so I will select that. Now the machine is running, and still without downtime it is going to migrate from server 2 to server 3. And we can see the status here of migration. It is 3% completed. And now we can see it is migrated to server 3. Now migrated to server 3 means what? If you see the server 2 Hyper-V manager, now it is not showing here any virtual machine. In server 2 Hyper-V manager it is not there because it is moved to server 3. And now we can see this is running on server 3. So machine is gone to server 3. We can see it on Hyper-V manager of server 3. Now if something happened to this server 3, if server 3 is not running, then automatically the service, this virtual machine will move. It will do the failover, and it will do move from this server to server 2. Now for example, what I will do, if I do the shutdown, then it will do what? It will drain out. It will drain out the resources, and the resources will move to the server 2. This is what the normal drain out. We do the planned failover, we can say. But if suppose suddenly it is shut down, then also the machine will move automatically to server 2. So suddenly shut down, that means what? I will suddenly shut down this machine by here. I will go to power, and I will select turn off. Now while I turn off the server 3 directly, now it is saying here unmonitored. It is not able to monitor it, but very soon it is going to move that server the virtual machine from server 3 to server 2 by doing the failover. So by doing this machine is highly available. So whatever happened to the server node in the cluster, it will move the virtual machine from the to the other nodes, and it will keep running the virtual machine, and it will do make the virtual machine available every time. It is loading the status, it is checking the status, and now what? Soon it will move to server 2. And it is taking a little time because it is what? It is a disaster. So because the machine was running, so it is now taking a little time to move from server 3 to 2, because it is a disaster. It is not a planned failure where we shut down the server 3 properly. It was directly shut down. Failure. And now we can see, now the virtual machine is running, and now it is running on server 2. So now it has done what? It has done the failover. It has done the failover from server 3 to server 2. So we can do the live migration, we can do the migration, normal migration. For normal migration, we can choose the normal option, quick migration, or for doing the live migration, we can choose live migration option. Then if the one server fails, then still it will move from one server to other server by doing the failover. So this virtual machine becomes the highly available virtual machine on the cluster, where this virtual machine will be available every time to the users. Whatever happened to the nodes, the virtual machine will keep moving from one server to other server. Now if we have already available virtual machine, if we have already the virtual machine is there, then what we can do? We can go for configuring the role. If you want to select the existing virtual machine, so existing virtual machine, first we have to move the storage of the virtual machine to the shared storage, and then we can go on to select from this configuring the roles, and we go on to select virtual machine from here, and then in the next step it will show you all the available virtual machines which is not in the cluster. Right now we have on one virtual machine that is available in the cluster, so it will show all the machines which is not in the cluster. So you select the virtual machine from here, and then you can go on to select next and make it highly available. So highly available existing virtual machine, you can make that. It is like this. You go to the configure role, and then you go on to go next, and then here you will select virtual machine, and it will show you existing virtual machines like this. So you select the virtual machine you want to make highly available, but make sure first you have moved the virtual machine storage to the shared storage, otherwise it will give you error. Then next, in the next step, you will say okay, this is confirmed, and then it will go on to make this virtual machine highly available. We can do this by using the PowerShell command also. We can say add cluster virtual machine role, virtual machine, and this is the virtual machine. So this will make highly available. So this is how we can configure the virtual machine on the cluster. We can make, or we can configure highly available virtual machine on